Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in New Hampshire, let me know in the comments section. Definitely vote for Republican Don Bolduc, and here's why. If you look at independents, ladies and gentlemen, in Pennsylvania, Oz is leading there. In Georgia, Herschel Walker will win. In Arizona, Blake Masters is in the driver's seat. The Libertarian dropped out and endorsed Blake Masters. Laxalt and Ron Johnson in Nevada and Wisconsin. I don't even think it's going to be that competitive. They'll win in a dominant manner. Okay, if you look at what's taking place in these states, independents are leaning and they're just moving towards Republicans by a wide margin. The reason is because under Democrats, people like Maggie Hassan, okay, this is why you should vote for Republican Don Bolduc in New Hampshire, and he's up in the latest poll. He's on his way to winning that state, and that is a surprise upset. That's just yet another Senate seat for Republicans. But the reason you should vote in any battleground state for the Republican is the following. When you have imbeciles on the left, okay, and I understand about all about that, hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. I used to be the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, Bernie Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post, and I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. This was in 2015 and 2016, when my writing was read hundreds of thousands of times in The Hill, The Huffington Post, and Salon. I became a Trump Republican because I saw what Trump was doing in terms of economic performance and in terms of foreign policy accomplishments. We had real wages up 1.1% in 2019. Actually, Bernie Sanders was, this is how you go from Bernie to Trump. Bernie Sanders was saying, oh, that's not enough, 1.1%, that's terrible. It's now down 8.5%. Real wages, according to the Dallas Fed, people of New Hampshire, are down 8.5% nationally. Okay, that's according to the Dallas Fed, Federal Reserve. I'm not going to make up these numbers. According to the Dallas Fed, real wages in this country, because inflation is so high, inflation is at 8 to 9%. Real wages are down 8.5%, but inflation around the country is 8.5%. Inflation for food, energy, and rent is oftentimes well over 20%. Okay, so it's well over 20% for energy. Okay, and Democrats take every serious issue, whether it's climate or anything else, and they drive it into the ground, and their policies are completely counterproductive. So they wanted to transform the economy, decarbonize the economy. Okay, then why is there a diesel shortage? Why are we begging OPEC for oil? Why did Biden, mashed potato brains Joe, release 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves and then 15 million right before midterms? So why do Democrats always backtrack and flip-flop and reverse course when their policies don't work? They're always so happy about their policies. People like Maggie Hassan and Warnock and Kelly in Arizona and Fetterman, if he were to win, but he's not going to. It's Democrats who have driven this economy into the ground. We've seen a stock market crash throughout the year that I predicted on this channel in 2021. I said we were going to have a recession, a terrible economic environment. Most economists now, major economists, I should say, are predicting a terrible recession in 23. That's because the policies of the Democratic Party, whether it's making it difficult for fossil fuels or oil and gas companies to operate, okay, focusing on decarbonizing the economy when we don't have the technology yet to fully transform the U.S. economy. So you look, oil and gas prices are through the roof. Inflation is through the roof. The retirement accounts are down 25 grand on average. This is not a global issue, okay? It's not because of just these global phenomenons. If other countries happen to do exactly what we did, if other countries had the same experts who happen to be wrong on almost everything, tell their countries to tank and shut down economies, well, that's exactly what we did. If it's a global phenomenon, you had a whole bunch of smart people doing something very stupid and counterproductive all at once. And now we're all facing 40-year highs in inflation. So in terms of the economy, Democrats were mindless and they just followed the advice of potential maniacs. They gleefully shut down economic activity. I mean, how many restaurants, how many business owners, how many people had their lives upended? And it didn't have to happen. Okay, that was a choice. They said, well, we need a type of amnesty now. It's like, no, the Atlantic knows what's on the horizon. Because you'll have Rand Paul and others investigate why Democrats were so gleeful in shutting down economic activity. But you don't want a Democrat in the Senate who is just going to send tens of billions of dollars to Europe and not try to find a solution. If you have somebody like Don Bolduc, he knows exactly the costs of the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld, President Obama, and also Biden foreign policy. He understands why Trump's foreign policy was a lot better. Doha Agreement, which Biden completely botched, Abraham Accords, the first president to step foot in North Korea. Trump did a lot of great things. If you just remove the hysteria and the apoplectic coverage from media and the just absolute never-ending obsession Democrats have, we had record low, according to Columbia University. We have now a 15%, close to a 15% poverty rate. According to CNN in 2019 under Trump, we had a 10.5% poverty rate. That was the lowest poverty rate in the history of the country, or the history since poverty rates were calculated in the United States of America. That's according to CNN. So what is wrong with a record low poverty rate and record highs in household median income? We had a record high in household median income, and it wasn't because of $10 trillion pumped in through fiscal and monetary stimulus after Democrats tanked the economy. So what Democrats do, people like Maggie Hassan and Kelly and Warnock, is they tank the U.S. economy. Then they say, oh, here's more money. Look, we're helping you. It's like, no, you helped tank it. Your policies, governors or, on the state level, nationally, your policies helped tank the U.S. economy, make energy more expensive, and in terms of foreign policy, Europe is a catastrophe. Look what's taking place. We didn't have all of these things. I thought that invasion was supposed to have taken place under Trump. It took place under Biden and Democrats. The world is less safe. So you might not like Trump, but Don Bolduc is a much better choice. If you're in New Hampshire right now, do you want the same thing? Do you want the economy to continue in the course it's going, in the same trajectory? Or do you want to change? And that's with every independent voter, every voter in any battleground state. Just because you despise Trump doesn't mean you should pay $25,000 from your retirement income, retirement savings. That's according to the New York Post. People have lost about $25,000 from their 401ks and retirement accounts because of the economic downturn. We have a recession. We're going to have layoffs too, ladies and gentlemen, unless we address energy and energy costs in this country. And Republicans will do so. All Democrats want to do is pontificate, judge, condemn, preach, and nobody... You shouldn't take... If you're in New Hampshire and you listen to Maggie Hassan, you shouldn't take Lindsey Graham seriously on the... he does foolish things all the time. And so the ban, the 15-week ban, was a 15-week ban, not a complete ban, a 15-week, okay, nationally. There was no need for that. There's not even political will among Trump Republicans. Trump Republicans generally are a lot more liberal on social issues, okay? A Trump Republican, even though Democrats despise Trump, is a lot more in line with Democrats on many social issues than a traditional Liz Cheney Republican, okay? And the hilarious thing is that Liz Cheney voted alongside Trump 90% of the time in Congress. She just disagrees with him primarily on foreign policy. Same with Kinzinger. And foreign policy is a catastrophe right now. So the Senate does a lot of work, obviously, on foreign policy. Well, who better to have than a former general veteran who's been to battle and has seen with his own eyes how foreign policy works and the dangers of a Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld Biden type of foreign policy. Hit subscribe to this channel. If you're in New Hampshire, let me know, people. This is a huge story. Maggie Hassan could lose. I mean, Don Bolduc could be... we could find out that that day that Republicans control the Senate and that hopefully I'm expecting our economy and foreign policy to make a 180 turn. I'm expecting with Trump Republicans or Republicans in the Senate for them to address the failed economic policies of Hassan and Democrats and Biden and the miserably failed foreign policy of Democrats. And I think that's what's going to happen. Give me your thoughts below. Definitely vote for Don Bolduc in New Hampshire. He's up now in polls. The momentum is with him. And we could find out that Republicans control the Senate immediately or that night with a flip in New Hampshire. I think the people of New Hampshire will play a great role in modern U.S. history. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Be here tonight for the live stream at about 5:30.